This place, not only for myself but for Biripi people, is really important. Hi, I'm Naja Carter. I'm sitting here at Middle Brother National Park, better known to us as Moorigan. I am a Biripi woman and this is my backyard. To be able to walk in and be in the same places that my ancestors have been in, to be able to go and do the same sort of things they were doing, you know, hundreds of years ago, and to be walking under the same trees and resting against the same trees that they rested against. And for me, it's all about knowing that this is where I fit, this is where I belong. That sense of belonging is such an important thing, not only for Aboriginal people but for all humans.
Bird Tree and Benaroon are two of the largest blackbutt trees in Australia. They stand among other giant trees that have survived years of logging on Middle Brother Mountain.
It's our portal into the past. It's our connection to our ancestors, because at one time they would have been in and around here hunting, you know, probably sitting against a tree, you know, playing in and around it. And so it's our sort of connection to that, and a living remnant of what life was like for Biripi people living here, you know, in the mid-north coast.
Captain Cook spotted 3 mountains from the shore as they first sailed up the east coast. He named them the Three Brothers, without knowing that the Biripi have their own story of the Three Brothers.
When the land was flat, there was a large lake, whose spirit was the mother of 3 brothers. Durigan, the eldest, Moorigan, the middle son, and Burigan was the youngest son. Burigan had more favour in his mother's eyes than his siblings. On their way north, Durigan tried to persuade Moorigan to help him kill their youngest brother, so that he might find more favour in his mother's eyes. Moorigan refused. But this didn't stop Durigan fleeing to the south to kill Burigan. Upon telling the brother's mother, she got very angry and killed the 2 brothers for murdering Burigan. When the Great Spirit Eagle heard what had happened, he became very angry. As punishment for the mother, he turned the 3 brothers into mountains. Burigan into the mountain to the south, Moorigan into the middle mountain, and Durigan into the mountain to the north.
We used to come up here a lot as children. We used to explore the walking tracks and come around Bird Tree, and we used to bring a lot of family and friends up here. We used to do this thing where we would all circle around Bird Tree and hold each other's hands and get photos of us all in a big circle, sort of showing how big the tree is. You know, and my father's father and his family used to be timber getters up at the back of Wauchope. So they used to talk about the size of trees and how big they used to get. As I grew up and got older, we used to learn more about bush tucker and the types of foods that we could collect and gather and eat and use for various different things. So not only has this place been a playground, it's also been a schoolyard. You know, it's been a place where I got my education from, where I learnt about my culture, and particularly for me, the food side of things, which is where most of my passion is, in learning what I can and can't eat and whether I can and can't use that, and how, you know, Biripi people used to live in and around and in harmony with their environment. I suppose that we have this saying, take photographs and leave footprints. Like, that's what I'd like for people to do, is come up here and to experience it, and to also get that sense of importance as well, and come up here, see the size of the trees and think, wow, you know, this is what, you know, this forest would have been filled with massive big trees at one stage. Get that sense of connection to the history and touch the trees and connect with them, I suppose, and learn from the mistakes. And you'll still see trees here, some of the fallen trees with those holes in it that the timber getters used to put their wedges in and stuff. And they're important to stay there because they're a learning tool as well. So the timber getters used to come along to trees like this, and they used to cut these little holes into the trunk of the tree, and they used to climb up onto those planks of wood, and they used to chop the tree from those planks, and they'd spend the day sort of sawing this tree and then felling it. How they were able to, one, cut them down, let alone move them through a forest, and then, cut them up to be used as timber. It's just absolutely amazing to hear of how old a lot of those massive big trees would have been, We talk about trees being a couple hundred years old. I'm sure some of those would have been, 1,500, if not, older, because of their sheer size. The story that I've been told is that this tree and a couple of other trees, but specifically this tree, was earmarked by a timber-getting family from this area called the Birds. And it was Birds' tree, but was saved and then protected. And so they looked after this tree and kept it. For my kids now to be playing in and around the same trees, it's that continuous connection that will hopefully go on through the generations.